Welcome back to today's video. Today I have a special guest to talk about the recent trip to Laconia 2023. My wife, Jess, HERTWOWHEELS.
Insert applause sound effect. Thank you. Good to be here. Nice to see you again.
Welcome.
Thanks. Thanks for having me. It's such an honor.
We're on site here in front of our toy hauler. This is literally the day after we've come back home.
We're very sleepy. I am very sleepy.
It's a 2,000-mile trip. We drove home 16 hours, about 15 and a half, close enough. So it was a long drive home. Some people might be clicking on this video because of the title, and we'll get to that here in a minute. But first, I figure we'll talk about the trip to Laconia. The first night we did stay in a Cracker Barrel parking lot.
We did.
So
It was wonderful.
Fun. And not a lot of hiccups. I mean, the truck did pretty good. It was pretty flat. A lot of people said I'd probably not enjoy towing with a half ton, and I mean, I probably would have to agree. It's not really enjoyable, but it can definitely do it.
There were a couple very scary downshifts.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, what was that noise?
The truck doesn't engine brake very good, and I think we can make it work. And transmission temperatures were perfect ever since I got the new transmission cooler. I don't know. Otherwise, it was fine. So Cracker Barrel was fine. We did find that the cat door that I built broke off the wall, though.
Oh,
that was fun. But I did fix that night in a parking lot after we went to Home Depot, and it stayed on the rest of the trip, so that was good.
And the cat did great. She was a trooper. The first 15 minutes into the trip, she rolled the back windows down, scared the living bejesus out of me, but since then, child window safety locks were implemented and no hiccups.
Yeah, at one point we even had to pull over to the side of the road after he dropped a deuce in the back seat.
She.
Yeah.
Did you say me?
She, I thought.
Oh, I said me. The cat.
We also had a litter box in the back seat too. So anyways, getting to Laconia, setting up camp was fine. Backing the bikes out were fine. We brought the Sportster and the Himalayan just to see what it will feel like when we go to Sturgis and the ADV Get On Motofest.
Yep, the Get On ADV Fest happening.
I always get it backwards. Pretty similar weight what we'll be pulling out there, so I feel pretty confident in what the truck can do. 250 miles to a tank.
I don't think our bladders ever made it that long.
Yeah,
honestly.
We can't even last that long. We gotta stop about every 150 miles to use a restroom or take a break.
Yep.
Especially with my back. I'm actually paying for that 16-hour trip yesterday. I'm walking crooked right now, so.
Still handsome.
Yeah, camping worked out good, and so we rolled in Sunday afternoon. After waking up at Cracker Barrel, it was only about a 4-hour drive in through Vermont and New Hampshire. And I have to say, first off, I don't know what the deal is with the speed limits in the Northeast.
So odd.
As soon as we got out of Ohio, we didn't see another 70-mile-per-hour speed sign. But then on top of that, once we got into New Hampshire, it was like every road was 30 or 40 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Like huge sweeping corners that would be like 55 in Ohio were 30.
Yeah. It was odd.
I've never experienced that before. Beautiful streets though. Wonderful lake, town, cities, great food. Mondays was the big day. Mondays when we woke up and we decided to take a long route around, what is it, the north side of Mount Washington.
Yeah, we took so we were staying in the area of Bristol, which is about 35 minutes northwest of Laconia. So we took about an 80-mile an 80-mile route up to the Mount Washington area, and then we'll get to the rest of that. But the whole day we did a big loop around the area, and it was a little over 200 miles.
So Mount Washington was cool. It was actually pretty challenging on the Sportster. I think it's like 6,200 feet.
Yeah, it was a little over 6,100 feet in the air to the summit.
I'd say about 5,000, 5,500 point. The Sportster had a little bit of a choking issue. Mostly because the weird thing about Mount Washington is it's like all uphill. There's no flats.
Was literally just uphill the whole
It
time.
was uphill the whole time, yeah.
You were just always on like a
And
7%
my
grade
problem is
uphill.
I was not going quick enough. I might have to pull off. So after a certain period, I started lugging the motor, and then at the elevation, it started actually, I think, running. I don't know if it'd be lean or rich. I don't know. Somebody will tell me in the comments.
Leave a
But
comment
after,
below. Was he running lean or rich? Going
like at
too
the
slow.
time, I didn't think about it at the time. I should have just slipped the clutch to get the revs up to get it to clear out. And at the time, that's like the first time I think I've actually panicked. I was like, oh no, it's just choking out. I don't know what to do. But as soon as I stopped and it idled, it was fine. I made it to the top, and we experienced some pretty views. I mean, it was 50 degrees and 20-mile-per-hour winds.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have some footage of that. And
Yep, I lost my 360 camera, so I don't have
Yeah.
footage. So Jordan has all of the 360 footage of that trip.
Right. Yep.
But
You'll cover some of that on your channel too. But yeah, we had a man down. But
a camera.
hopefully somebody finds that 360. If you find it, let us know.
You can keep it.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can keep
it's,
it. But enjoy it, please. Give it a second life. Otherwise, the mountain claimed it.
Yep, that was a $500 loss on my part. Cost us $60 to get up the mountain and about $500 worth of camera gear. So
Yeah.
the mountain claims another victim.
That was my first mountain I've ever gone up, though. So that was kind of cool. A little nerve-wracking, you know, going up. I didn't feel comfortable looking around. I was just trying to keep the Sportster on the road.
I wish we would have done it again, honestly.
Well, going down was less nerve-wracking. I mean, the biggest thing was we were actually trying to stop to appreciate it more than.
Yeah.
And then like they have signs up everywhere talking about don't overheat your brakes, so that was like making me paranoid, but it's mostly for the cars.
It's for the cars. It's for automatic vehicles that don't have engine brake. You know, our bikes we were able to ride first and second gear most of the way, so we barely used our brakes.
Yeah. After that, we rode down to Wares Beach.
Yep.
And that was cool. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. It's a rally. I mean, that was also my first big rally I've been to.
And it was on a Monday, so it was a much more tame. What we didn't know going into this as new Laconia rally attenders. Typically, motorcycle rallies that last the entire week. The opening weekend, is the most happening, I guess you would call it. It's when everyone's there and excited and crazy. Laconia is the opposite, and we didn't know that. So we arrived on Sunday after the opening weekend, and we left on Thursday morning. So of course we missed all of like the really big, crazy, fun rally stuff. And personally, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I knew what to expect, and I mean, it was fine to me. It's not really my thing, but it was cool to see. And I mean, I bought a t-shirt and drank a couple beers and listened to music, and we hung out, and Yeah, my bike even got a picture taken of it by a fan, and then later on he realized who it was and hit me up on Instagram, so that was pretty
That is
funny.
cool.
Met a couple fans, so that was always great. I like people that come up and say hi to us at least. I mean, I know I don't have a whole lot to talk about, but it's great to say hi to people.
Well, it's true. If you know, if any of you guys ever see us out in the wild, please don't hesitate to come say hello, because the one thing Jordan and I never do is we never ever assume anyone knows who we are. You know, we're just two people
Yeah,
walking through the crowd.
I don't think my head is that big yet.
No. And so the second day, this is transitioning into Tuesday, rain all day. And we, you know, if you guys are familiar with my channel, I am not against riding in the rain. That doesn't mean I want to do it, but I will. But since we had the luxury of having our truck with us and we got all of our riding done the prior day, I was like, you know, the one thing I've never done, I've never been out here in New England. I would really love to go visit Salem, Massachusetts and Boston. So we actually woke up early, hopped in the truck, and took the excruciating 2-hour, very congested drive down to Salem and Boston.
It was terrible. I don't think I'll be honest, I don't think I'll ever go back to Boston again simply because of the traffic.
It was
just unnecessary.
So crazy.
There's no rhyme or reason to the traffic. Just bottleneck after bottleneck. But I did enjoy our time there while we were there. It was cool to see Boston. It was cool to go down and see
and visited Madhouse Motors.
Madhouse Motors, yeah. I always want to say Madhouse Motorcycles, but it's...
So Jay Shia. Yeah. If you guys are interested in checking her out on Instagram, it's Jay Shia. We'll spell it out. Jordan will spell it out. He's editing. But she wasn't there, unfortunately. But checking out her shop and her crew.
It was inspiring, actually. The whole shop was. I love talking to the mechanics there.
They were super kind.
Yeah, I got to watch the one guy fix an electrical issue, and I was very involved.
I was in the coffee shop. There's a coffee shop attached, and so, of course, I had 2 cold brews. I was seeing sounds by the time we were able to head back up to New Hampshire.
It's funny, we wait until nighttime to make a video, and we still have airplanes flying over.
That was a helicopter.
Whatever. It's a unidentified flying object.
It's identifiable.
No, it's not.
We also went to Salem.
So
Salem was for me specifically. I have always been obsessed with, you know, the Salem witch trials and the witch crisis and stuff like that. So it was definitely on my bucket list. Wednesday was the real reason we extended our stay. We wanted to attend the hill climb.
The Gunstock Hill Climb. And I got to see the one dude I wanted to see named Patrick Duddy.
Which you literally got back right before he ran.
Yeah.
You almost missed him.
Yep. So we walked probably 15 minutes all the way into the Gunstock. Got inside and then realized, oh yeah, we could have brought in our chairs. So I turned around, walked all the way back to the truck, got the chairs, came all the way back in, and right in time got to see Patrick run his Dyna up the hill. So I was super excited to see that. Patrick messaged me, probably almost over a year now, a year ago. And I met him through the whole Sportster summer gang. And he was building a Sportster to bring on the group, but he unfortunately didn't get to finish his Sportster, but he was really helpful in a lot of the parts I built for that bike. And he ran his Dyna uphill, so he's a nice guy, cool to see.
It was cool. He didn't make it up to the top. Poor guy had an issue with it.
He has made it to the top, though.
Yes, but not on that run. I felt bad.
I think later on he said he had a problem with his petcock or something.
Yeah, that's what he said.
And it landed on him pretty hard, too, because he had some good marks. But it was
Hope
great to meet him in
okay.
person. If you get a chance, check him out on Instagram. He does some pretty cool stuff.
The hill climb was so impressive. You just don't realize how steep it is until you're looking at it.
I tried to capture a video and picture of that hill, but it just, until you're standing in front of it, the thing is quite literally straight up and down.
Yeah!
So that was very cool. And then we got to see Chicken Fried Choppers. It's cool to see him again. It's been at least a year for me.
Yep, got to meet the
And
guys from the Easy Co.
Yep, got to see the guys from Easy Co.
They were super cool.
I was late to the t-shirt game. Everybody had sold out already, so nobody had my pitiful medium size, unfortunately. But it's
a
all
common
right.
size.
Yep,
That's why
yep.
it sold so fast.
I waited too long to buy a shirt, but that's all good.
It was really cool to see the custom bikes. I'm typically partial to custom bike shows because it's like once you go to, a couple, you've kind of just seen them all. And I will say the Deadbeat Custom show that they put on at the Hill Climb was probably one of the best custom bike shows I've ever seen.
They had a really good selection. You could tell that they were kind of like curated.
Well, they were real bikes that people ride too.
Yeah.
Like that's what I look for. I look for people who actually ride the bikes they build instead of just building show bikes. Like these were really beautiful.
Cool. And the atmosphere in between the pines with the hill climb and the sound of two strokes running up the hill in the background.
The smell.
Like, it was a pretty cool atmosphere.
Yes.
And I don't think a whole lot else happened really.
That was really kind of all we did. We had 3 solid days, and
the sun took us out on that day.
Oh man,
it was pretty exhausting.
Brutal.
And then there was a threat of a storm coming in that afternoon, so a lot of people actually hightailed it.
We did see all of the burnout marks on the road, though.
Oh, they were everywhere.
Holy moly.
I mean, 45 minutes away from Laconia, and they were all the way up the roads.
Donuts.
I've never seen so many Dynabros in my life.
I loved it. I loved seeing the Dynabros.
It was pretty cool, actually. Pretty cool to see them all out, running around in little packs.
Yep.
And then we went home that night and loaded up the bikes and left first thing in the morning. And here we are back home.
Tired.
I guess to finally answer the question, I mean, this whole trip was my Sportster Scrambler's last big adventure, was going up Mount Washington.
As the bike is now.
Yeah, so that's the direction of the bike is I'm not selling it. It's just not going to be an adventure scrambler anymore. I think I've gone far enough with the way the motorcycle is. The type of adventure riding I'm looking to do, it's time that I graduate to an actual dirt bike rather than trying to lug this heavy Sportster around on dirt roads. That's honestly really hard for my back issues. So I'm just reverting the bike back into kind of more of a traditional cruiser and put some shorter shocks. Are you about to sneeze?
Yeah. I'm trying so hard not to sneeze. Okay, I think I'm good.
So I'm going to put some shorter shocks on the bike and change up the handlebars. And honestly, the last year, I think I just got too serious with the bike. I tried to make the mid controls work. I tried to outfit it to be like what would be the term?
I think the thing is, I don't know the term, but I do think the thing that you probably realized after your very first Mid-Atlantic BDR trip is it's like, yes, the bike would have performed if it was built more like an ADB bike. And I think the thing that you slowly grew to realize this year is it's obviously, yeah, the bike has limitations as an off-road capable vehicle, but you also have limitations as the type of rider that you are.
I think my limitations are higher than what the bikes are. No, my limitations are lower. Yeah, lower than what the bike is.
So the thing that I constantly say is I'm like, a lot of these people who convert these Harleys into these like really cool off-road bikes, it's not so much the bike's capabilities. Like, anyone can slap some knobbies and a chain on a Harley and it's an off-road bike. It's the rider that makes those motorcycles capable of these really cool adventurous types of riding. And Jordan and I both are we're not timid, we're not scared, but we're just not, I call it send it boys. We're just not send it boys.
I'm just not willing to get hurt.
I don't want to get hurt. Yeah. We want to relax and have fun and explore. And so transitioning into a more built capable motorcycle to do that is obviously the next step.
So I'll be changing a lot of the parts on the bike, and we'll be addressing that in a future video very soon, because I plan to have this bike completely rebuilt before we hit the road in now 24 days for the ADV Get On Motovest.
The Get On ADV Fest.
I'll always say it backwards. And additionally, Sturgis.
And if you guys are able to come to the Revzilla Get On ADV Fest, even if you're not into ADV riding, I will say it is genuinely focused around ADV riding, but the festival that we're going to at the Buffalo Chip is by far some of the most fun festivals I've ever been to. It's very laid back, it's very small, very quaint, and in one of the most beautiful parts of the country for motorcyclists. So if you guys want to check it out, we will have a link in the description.
And Gordita will be there on knobbies still.
Yep.
Just slightly different looking.
We'll have the Sportster, we'll have my Himalayan there, and my Road Glide will be there on pavement. Road Glide's not going off-road.
Yep, and we're not trailering the Road Glide because we can't fit it in the back of the toy hauler with everything else.
Yep.
So she's actually going to be riding to Sturgis again this year.
Yep. I will be riding completely separate. We're still going to meet up and camp and do things together, but I will not be able to have my bike in the toy hauler. So riding the 5,000 miles there and back and all over the place in between.
Well, I think that about covers Laconia and plus some, and what the future of Gordita will be. You can let me know what you think about that, how much you hate the idea. But I mean, I got to be honest. I've spent the last 3 years working on this bike as a scrambler and an adventure bike, and trying to do some of these harder trails for me. And at this point, I'm just ready to kind of take a break from that mindset, enjoy the bike for what it is. It's a cruiser, and just kind of have some fun with the styling again. And in the future, I'm going to look at some lighter weight dirt bike options. That way we can get out there and properly explore some nice trails and go a little deeper, actually, rather than just, trying to hit mediocre trails that I can barely do on a Sportster. So, anything else to add?
Nope.
All right. Well, until next time, take it easy, and see you in the next one. That should work.
Yeah, it'll be good.
All right. Can I stand up?
Oh my God, my body. Where's it old? I need allergy meds.
I need your mic.
Oh, take it.
I need a shower and bed.